All right, hello and welcome to the live stream. So, yeah, let's kick off things like again with like the today's PNL update. So today has been, quite calm. Not many trading setups, actually almost zero. And so, yeah, so let's just have a look quickly, have a look at what we're trading. So if you remember yesterday, we've been testing our USD JPY and XYZ JPY between Hyperliquid and MT5, and like we've made like small profit, which is great. So I believe that we can like try to deploy a strategy on USD JPY as well. And so today I was thinking that like many times you will have days where, for example, you don't have any trade, right? And that is actually normal and quite okay. Considering the fact that uh, like we've been making like a lot of profit over past like 3 weeks. So like what are the choices that we have, right? When we let me show you P&L. Like when we don't have like any trading days, like disregard weekends, or and stuff like that. Like yesterday was like one of our biggest profit days so far. So yeah, so what can we do? And the answer is like you can either wait or you can just try to like look for new strategies or new trading setups. And so for that reason, like this week, I would like to focus on so I've mentioned it already. Let's like open our live stream topic file, right? Let me just quickly go to my drive and like let's see uh, uh, what we can do. So so I have like some small tasks, right, that are already finished. So what we can do is like, okay, instead of like having static like enter and exit levels, so let's finally proceed like to further like apply some Bollinger backtesting and some screening to not trade the same symbol uh yeah every day, because SP 500 has been like very very good, but today the spread has been quite tight. It doesn't mean that we won't find a trade today, but in case like this symbol will remain like sort of not so active, we might try to look for different setups. And so like the one I'm testing right now, as I've mentioned, is the USD JPY, which is running on my testing account. And right now the floating PNL is like slightly in profit, right? So we have some profits on USD JPY, which is currently running on my server. And then as you know, we also have the JP225, right, which has already been tested. Uh, So we've been also trading the Japanese index a lot. Right now the funding rate is also like quite high, so in theory you could like enter into this trade too. But again, like as I've mentioned, the 24-hour volume is like still quite low, right? But maybe like if we like add more liquidity into this market, people will start to trade more, right? They will see better pricing, and maybe we'll see more activity. But overall, if you look on the daily chart, we see that almost every day like we found like some good trades, and like overall JP25 has also been performing yeah, really well. So if I just filter by JP225 here, only on JP225 we made over $300 in profit, right? So some days or some weeks are going to be more or less active, and that is fine. Like last Friday I had almost like no trades, but then like from like 6 p.m. I made had like three setups in a row in SP 500, and then it was completely okay. Let's go. Yeah, hey, welcome to the stream. So, let's have a look also, have a look at our large account, right? So, yeah, in the descriptions below, I added added live P&L. So again, feel free guys to, check out the results yourself. So here, this app is publicly available, so you guys can see, my live trades on my main account and also my test account. So also on on the large account, like there has been no trade, like no setup, but it's still nice like to have like +10, right? So maybe we like caught a small trade, during the day. Here you can see the small profit. Probably it's a trade, from yesterday that was like still unclosed and closed today. And so in a large account, there are still a lot of things, right, that we can do. So priority is like, let's try to turn a strategy right now, so we can like try to make our money work for us. So yeah, let's for example turn the JP225 or the USD JPY strategy, right? And so now the good thing is that like overall we've tested like many strategies, and like in theory we can deploy like 3 or 4 that we know have a high chance of being profitable. And so let's just start, like open a trade, and we can always like choose to close it or find another trading setup. So now I'm going to like make a small like screening, right? Look at the current trading opportunities. Here on my small account, USD JPY is now being like allocated. Like the funding rate is not like that high, it's just minus 11%. But again, like on Forex, what I'm saying is that because Forex is less volatile, we can like afford to go higher leverage. And with higher leverage, uh, yeah, we have a higher position size relative to our capital size, which then, still makes like a good profit. So we have a question, is this method of trading accessible for people with not a lot of money, like let's say 300 US dollars? Yes, so I've done some testing, and it's like possible to like start with 300 USD. And like, so the only cost that you're going to have is like if you have 300 USD, I would probably recommend trading on your own like PC at home, right? PC, like, computer. And like why I'm saying that is that I'm using a virtual private server, right? It's like a service that you connect to, right? And it's like a Windows server running somewhere in the cloud, or like somewhere um, like not at your home. And this allows you to, deploy your strategy 24/7 and doesn't disrupt, your workflow on your own PC. But yeah, like if you start with 300, I would probably start, on your own PC, try to save some costs, because these servers, they can cost anywhere from $30 to $200 per month. Like this one costs 200. Um, and so yeah, so like I've made like a small strategy, where you can trade like Forex. You can trade like with low capital, or even S&P. Like my main strategy right now on S&P, I believe that you can also do with 100 and 100. So there should be yeah, no problem with that. Where do you get your strategy ideas from? Is it like accounting journals, or like relation or experience? I would say experience. So like the term arbitrage trading is, very common. Like arbitrage has existed for a very long time, right? So what it means is that you buy for cheap on one exchange and sell for more expensive on another exchange, right? In this case, MT5. And so the only thing like that you need to make this work is like having some sort of curiosity, right, to explore various markets and exchanges, because most traders nowadays, like they just have one platform, like they go to MT5 and never look for different like alternatives, right? And so if you look at like multiple exchanges, there are like hundreds, if not thousands of exchanges, like, or DEXs, right, that you can see online. So we're focusing right now on decentralized crypto exchanges, where you can also trade normal things like gold, S&P 500, and so on. This is not available in crypto. And it's just like about testing your ideas and making it work. And also like a little bit of like coding, right? So the coding is also like an important part when you design these strategies. Okay, so let's go back like to my like first uh first thing, like our money is right now not doing anything, right? Because we have no signal at the moment. Here you can see my S&P 500 running, and like the spread is like almost at zero, which means that we might have to look for like different trading setups. And like there are many options like that we can like try. We can like trade silver, which has very high liquidity, or we can try to trade something else that has slightly like lower liquidity. Like in theory, I would like try WTI oil, but I know that the pricing of crude oil varies from broker to broker, so there would be, some risk in case we go to WTI oil. So, on live stream, like I would prefer like explaining exactly how the calculation of pricing works before I enter any trade, because what you will find is that there might be a chance that you will lose money when you try to arbitrage this symbol, and that is due to the pricing differences. Right. So one comment. Yeah. So I just want. Oh, would you mind to quick rundown of the core fundamental concept of your arbitrage, please? Shorting one exchange and longing on another one. Yes, that is correct. So in Hyperliquid, which is a decentralized exchange, I measure the pricing differences, like I can show you here, right? And I compare it with my other broker on MT5, which is a CFD provider. So here you have like CFDs, which stands for contract for difference. And like if you look at, you know, for example, the historical spread, right? Here I can measure the pricing discrepancies between these exchanges. So this is, for example, the history on S&P 500, right? You see that like the pricing is sort of the same, but you see some small deviations. And we can like arbitrage these deviations. For example, when the difference is high, we can short Hyperliquid and long MT5. And then like when the difference goes like back to zero, we can then exit both positions at a net profit, right? And so this is like the high level concept of strategy. We're using like maker orders and Hyperliquid, adding liquidity and then like sending a market order to MT5. And so if you're more interested like in how the strategy works, I like on this public dashboard, I created like a quick, explanation how the strategy works with an example. And like if you are even more interested, how to set up the trading strategy, like feel free to, go to my website and you can also find out more on my website, like how to download TradingBot and so on. Okay, so now I'm thinking about yeah, what strategies can we deploy? Like I already know that I'm going to deploy something. I just need to decide what would like be the ideal thing, right? Also, I figured out, or I found out that SpaceX is also available on IC Trading. Like I said, I don't like to trade IPOs, but in terms of arbitrage, right, we can then also like analyze the pricing discrepancies between SpaceX on IC Trading and also SpaceX, right, on Hyperliquid. So this is something I checked yesterday. Like right now, there's like nothing too much going on, right? But we have like an extra, uh, yeah, extra asset like that we can trade. So if there are any opportunities in the future, this could probably also be like one good candidate. And so if you check the volume, SpaceX on Hyperliquid actually has exceeded the highest volume. It's twice as liquid compared to XYZ SP500, which are like at 500 million, and SpaceX is like already over a billion. So that is crazy. Of course, the open interest is slightly smaller, right? So not many people hold it, but it is like very, very active. A lot of people are like trading a lot. Like here you can see like, yeah, right now on my small account, on my like 10K account, we are, yeah, trading USD JPY. Right now positions are being opened. And so here we are, our positions being hedged. So USD JPY is definitely something I'm considering opening today. Right, so this is my USD JPY account. Here we have like a small profit for like this is my testing account, and like so what I'm talking about is like I'm thinking what to open on my large account, right? So this is like I'm very hungry for some trades or profits because today, uh, yeah, we haven't placed like any significant trades today, but just today, right? There's a chance that we like yesterday was crazy, right? So. Uh, You can also call it like after a storm, everything settles down, everything becomes a bit calm. Maybe that's also the reason why. And I think SpaceX had also like a big impact on like the market movements. So now that the IPO is out and things slowly settle down, maybe we'll see a bit more like a calmer market. Like the market like moves in phases, right? Sometimes it's calm, sometimes it's very, very wild. Like if I look at Tesla here, right? Like not too high, Tesla is minus 10%, but I'm still trying to avoid stocks at the moment. And the reason why is that, I stocks you can trade 8 hours per day on IC markets, so you miss out on opportunities to trade stocks. Yeah, yeah, or like to trade anything like 24/5. And so I'm just doing, the usual manual screen. So, so far it looks like the USD is probably uh, the best candidate right now, or JP225. So that's interesting, right? So USDJPY and JP225 both being like, connected to Japan right now show very good funding rate. So let's just proceed, maybe like 50-50, right? Maybe like do 50 JP225, 50 USDJPY, and based on how fast they get filled, I can then reallocate some of the funds, to uh, no, based on available funds they have. So now I'm going to show you an example, how to deploy the trading bots on USDJPY and like JP225, which we already have like a very simple draft, right? Or like a template where we can do it. So here I can copy this folder and we already have the JP225 folder here. So, thank you very much. I was looking at a similar for Asia session for gold futures, MNQ, Bybit, gold futures, CFD gold, with broker, do you trade gold as well? Yeah, I trade gold as well. And like gold is one of my favorite assets. And like I have a strategy, right, that I trade it on Lighter. So Lighter is also DEX, where you can like trade it. And so unfortunately on Hyperliquid, gold is quite expensive, right? And there are like many reasons why. Um, but on Lighter, basically the maker commissions, right? The maker commission are almost zero. Like you see zero here, which is for retail, but I'm using like the professional account type, which is more suitable for arbitrage trading or market making. And like the commission on gold here is like very low. And so because it's expensive here, once we are finished with the Hyperliquid project, I would like to, then proceed to Lighter and then show you a trading strategy, right, that we can also apply on gold. Not saying it's impossible on Hyperliquid, but because it's more expensive, there are better like options to trade, so you don't like waste too much money on commissions. So in extreme cases, when gold spread is very volatile, then I do it. But yeah, but we're focusing on like literally any asset that we can trade. So I think silver is very liquid. So in theory, we can try to open a trade on silver, and I just need to make a quick analysis on the silver spread, and then like maybe within like the next 5 minutes, I will have like probably have decided what to trade. So so that's like the dilemma in trading, right? If you have like multiple strategies and you know that all of them sort of, have good signals, like you can deploy all of them at the same time, or you can deploy everything on a single strategy, right? To keep it simple, or you do some advanced capital allocation for each strategy or and so on. And like this is maybe like a topic where I'm not like that good. Like I'm great at identifying good or profitable setups, right? And for example, I'm good at writing these connectors and these arbitrage systems. But when it comes to like risk management, capital allocation, and like deciding position size or like deciding the parameter optimization of my backtest, I think like this is something where there is a no definite yes and no answer, right? So you can have many strategies on the same symbol. So even though I tell you can like long the spread or short the spread on silver right now, do short now, do wait for a better level, where do we exit, and what's the position size going to be. So it's a completely like entire topic that we haven't touched yet, and this is also like the thing that we're going to focus on, right? And like as we do these things, I will probably get better at it, and you guys can always like assist me, with your own ideas. But yeah, so let's look at the silver spread. Right, this slide. Oh, we're here. So let's look at the silver spread. So here we look at silver on Hyperliquid, and then here we will look, at silver on MT5. So here a question: how many strats do you usually deploy? So right now I prefer having like one main strategy and then like a few one, two, three like small strategies that I test on the side because I feel like that it's much easier to have just one strategy that like makes a lot of money, and as long as it works, everything's great. And if the strategy starts working, I will always have some backups ready to always like replace the strategy, like today, right? So if you look at the results of my trading for the past, um, on this large account, I started trading last week, so there will not be, uh, you know, Oh, this is like my testing account. Never mind. So here you can see like we made very consistent profits, and most of it was made on SP 500, right? So most of, if I filter, it was made on SP 500. Probably the second half. The first half we traded JP225, right? So that also works. So I like to keep it like simple. So I like to have like one main strategy, and then when I see better opportunities, I just switch to another one. And then when I see another better opportunity, then I switch to another strategy again. So this is like my approach, which probably is not the most optimal or the most profitable way of trading, but it works and it keeps like everything simple, right? I think if I had like more than three or even five strategies, I would not be able to like effectively keep track of all of them because I don't have as we've discussed on live stream, I don't have like any like dashboard where I can list all the strategies. Like I have this dashboard, right? But it just shows me the trades, but it doesn't show me like the risk, the capital allocation, the liquidation levels. So from the risk management point of view, this is good for reporting, but this is not like still not ready yet to fully give me like a risk overview of my strategies and how much is deployed, on each account. So yeah, so one main and then a few ones trading on the side to always have some backups in case I, in case I want to switch to a better strategy. Okay, so here we have the spread on silver, right? So here, for example, if you look at the price of silver, we see that like intraday, the spread like oscillates between like 0.7 and 0.01, right? And like we can create a system or strategy in theory where we, for example, short at like 0.7, and then we exit like, let's say, like around the average or slightly below the average, we can say like 0.3, which means we would make 40 cents or actually 4 cents on silver, right? We make 4 cents on silver, and like the spread on IC trading right now is like 26 cents. So probably more than half of your profits would go into spread and commissions, but it still would be profitable. Then we have like JP225, right? JP225, as usual, is always a solid strategy. Uh, I think, yeah, so here we can see that the market can be like very inefficient, right? If you look, for example, at this level here, like JP225, the price difference between like the current market price and here is like so huge, right? And like this is what allows us like to, even though it's not very liquid, when we enter a trade, the profits are really nice. So this is more like, this strategy is more like a patience game, and here we would have to, as I said, yeah, provide two-sided quotes to like really like get increase the volume. And then the last one is USD JPY, right? So again, let me show you the JPY. So now we like sort of isolated, or yeah, our list of strategies to now 3. So I'm thinking just about like these 3 symbols right now. Um, and like every of those strategies I'm mentioning has like pros and cons, right? So silver is very liquid. I would get filled. Remember, I'm trading a large account, like the public. I'm trading like a 100K account. If I trade it on like a 10K account, I would definitely go for JP225 or EasyJPY. But because on a 100K account, it would take me hours to get filled on JP225. I also need to look for strategies where liquidity is higher so I can fully maximize my capital, right? If I don't get filled, then my capital is not doing anything. Question, do you change the spread threshold from time to time based on the rolling window? Yes, so right now we're doing this like manual on stream where I just show the spread and then we can like, draw some visual lines here where we could buy and sell. And then today we're going to actually compute a Bollinger Band, right? Or a Z-score. So we're going to do like adaptive like entry and exit levels based on now a rolling window, and I'm going to use standard deviation for that, right? So today we're going to do some backtesting, right? We're going to apply various periods, standard deviation, right? Based on that, we'll compute entry and exit levels, and we'll try to find a nice backtest. And after our backtest is done, the next step is to then create then go to our trading bot. So we'll also be coding our trading bot. So right now, if you check the trading bot, it's just using, where is it here? these like strategy settings, right? Limit price buy, limit price sell, and so on. So these are the default limits, and so these will then be like variable over time when we will then compute the the spread using Bollinger Bands. All right, so here we have USD/JPY. We see that here the price has been a bit lower. So we're hovering here at minus 0.1, which is like okay, right? We can like try to go long. So right now, you know what I will do? I will actually deploy JP225 now, right? So let me deploy JP225 right now. Like even though the liquidity is not great, I think deploying a little bit on this asset will always like give us good results, right? Even though we don't get fully filled, so I think we can deploy even 2 strategies at the same time. And if I get filled on this asset, then I will be like super happy. So the process of like deploying a strategy is like quite simple. It's like, so if you download my code, you will also already have like some templates for each strategy, right? So you can basically copy the settings. You will find some default settings that I can also like update. And so the thing is that you just Control C this folder, then you go to your server or like wherever your trading bot or project is located, right? So then we go to strategies, and here I have my JP225 folder already ready. So I can actually just go here and edit the strategy settings myself, right? So here, let's open a trade on JP225, and here, just the important settings, right, on the strategy. Guys, like this is not a mistake, right? But it is something that will like optimize the hedging and the string quality. I accidentally left amend interval and check interval to 1 second, right? So what it means is that when you quote your limit orders, they only update once every second on the Hyperliquid exchange. So if you reduce it to like 0.25, you will get yeah, you will get better results. Here I would set top of offset to 50, so I want a minimum spread of 50 to be quoted, so I don't quote the spread too tight. Of course, they're also like filtered by the entry and exit levels here. Like there was a discussion on my Discord channel, right? My members, they were asking, should you go minus 150 or should you go minus 80, right? And everyone says like, oh, I had better results with 150. And I think this is like the beauty of trading, that even though it's fully automated, you can still like choose, the settings yourself. And like when you backtest, when we talk about backtesting, my robot is just executing the strategy that you define it, right? So once we go to backtesting, a lot of people will just have different opinions on different backtests, and so yeah, so no strategy in the long term will be the same, right? Unless you're just a beginner and just copy the default settings, then probably uh, they might be the same. But once you become like advanced at this thing, then I think it should be fine. So I'm just double checking all the settings before I deploy the trading strategy. So here, minimum liquidation distance is the distance until we get margin called. On USD JPY, it's the distance can be like quite small, right? So maybe I would like add like changes to 2,500. So here, what I'm doing here is that like my trading bot, like we are still hedging, right? So we have two legs, pardon. We have a trade open on every exchange, and what that means is that we risk getting liquidated on one side, right? Because we might run out of margin. And here I have some security features to, exit the trade prematurely to avoid liquidation on my platform. So, okay, minimum free margin on this open, let's set it to 1002. Maximum daily loss, force close. Okay, so like if you have any questions about this file, like you can always like send me a message to Discord and like try to understand. But I think Claude did a good job documenting all these things, right? Okay, so I think we have everything ready here, and like what I can also do, like I need to specify the the volumes, right? How much can I afford to go? And in this case, like we have a lot of options. So I just need to compute the margins, right? Yesterday I had a fun like math questions in the team, and like they were they were struggling a bit, but that's fine because trading like is easy and difficult at the same time. So the question, guys, is how much margin do you need to open like a one contract position Hyperliquid, right? And assuming you go leverage 1 to 10, for example. So the current price on Hyperliquid is, let's say, 69,000. Let's like do 70,000, right? Use a higher number to estimate the margin. So 70,000 like is the value in USD. Hyperliquid quotes JP25 in USD, MT5 in JPY. So here, if you have leverage 1 to 10, so we just need to divide by 10. So one contract costs us 7,000, right? One contract on JP25 costs us 7,000, which means that if we quote like 0.1, right? If we quote the limit with 0.1, then like the top of book liquidity that we would quote would be 7,000. We require 700 margin. So if you know that 7,000 is like the maximum like size we can go, so what we can in theory do is we can like on JP25 I'm like a bit scared, right, regarding the liquidity if we get stopped out. So I would be a little bit conservative with the entries and exit. So in my opinion, I would like prefer to go like leverage 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 maximum, right? Something like that. So let's just work with leverage 1 to 5 to be safe, and then like if we see that we get filled, we can then like increase the size or leverage later. So if we so I said 7,000, so now it's 14,000, right, to open one contract. And let's say I want to allocate 50,000 dollars on this, or like 25,000 Hyperliquid. So let's say I can afford to go 2 contracts, right, maximum, because that would be 38. So let's say we want to go 2 contracts on Hyperliquid, which means like that is, so we'll enter in 0.25 increments, but the maximum size that we will go is +2 and -2, right? And as I said, like I also want to update the leverage. I see that this file is slightly outdated because I forgot to update the JP225 folder on my server. And like, okay, let me answer some quick questions and then proceed with the deployment. What's a realistic monthly P&L? Something like 2 to 3% per month? Uh, well, I can just show you the historic performance on like on my 100K account. So guys, if you again look at the live dashboard, you can see the P&L yourself. So here on like this P&L dashboard, you can see my large account and my testing account. And the testing account has been trading for 3 weeks, right? So we started trading on the 25th until it's the 16th. And this is the result over the past 3 weeks, right? It hasn't even been a month yet, right? We started trading the 25th, out of which the first week was sort of like a testing phase, so we didn't fully allocate like all the money. So I would say like effectively it's just 3 weeks, and in 3 weeks we made almost $700, 694. So we made like 694, and we deposited like 11,000, right? It's actually 10,000 and something, but let's say it's 11,000. So our return after 3 weeks was 6%, right, per month. But I think like this month is also one of the like better months. So maybe in the future, in the next months, maybe we'll have like worse performance, maybe 5, 4, or 3%. But after 3 weeks, it's 6%, right? And we still have 1 week to go. So maybe we might even reach 8% per month. And that is like the crazy part of this arbitrage. But of course, like this is an example on a 10K account, on a 100K account where you need to open bigger sizes. Maybe there will not be enough liquidity, but we will see. So I'm going to report that again on a regular basis in my P&L report app that you can also check real time yourself. And so the question, what's your actual initial capital running strategy? So as I mentioned, on this account is 100K, and on the test account it's like roughly 10K, right? So we're running 10 and 100K accounts. And I also like planned to do like an aggressive 1K account, right? How would you trade if you had a 1K account? And for me, like I could like go full leverage, like full margin, and the only thing I could lose is like 1K, which is still a lot, but the risk profile on the 1K account is definitely different compared to the 100K, right? Because you can just go back to your job for 1 month, save up 1K and start again. If I lost 100K, I can't just go back to my job for 1 month, right, and start again. So that is the reason why, like, on a small account I can like afford to risk more, and then the like return on a small account is definitely much higher due to like you can trade low liquidity assets without any issues, right? Because you will still get filled on a small account, and you can risk more. So these are the two factors why you can afford to risk more, basically. So I'm going to strategy settings. I need to copy the new settings because my JP225 file is outdated. So sorry guys, I need to like do this step again, and here I'm going to apply the new changes on JP225, and so now if I go to the strategy settings, I will just edit these files again. I don't want to change the default settings too much because the defaults are used for new members, right? So they have some default settings, but of course in trading you want to optimize things, so I will just optimize it according to my like own risk settings and preference. So here I will set leverage to 5. So this was the part missing, right? I wanted to like set initial leverage on my strategy, which is going to be 5. And then we can like increase it to 10, right? But at least I hope I have good memory. I can just increase this to 2. I can then reduce this to -2. And here I can, for example, enter at -100, exit at -15, and enter at 100, and then exit at -15 again. So careful. Like this, yes. And here, of course, I will need like to increase the hard cap on the amount of lots because we're going to trade, we're on a much higher like capital. So this is like a security setting, so I don't open too many trades, right? In case the bot, well, I don't think it would go into spiral, but I always have this paranoia that it could go into a spiral, so I always add this just in case. And here I'll also change the amend interval to 0.25 seconds. So we'll have a refresh rate of limit prices 4 seconds, 4 times per second. And yeah, so now let me turn on the strategy. So here I have my S&P 500, and if it catches a trade, it's fine. But in the meantime, we can also just trade other strategies, right? So here we can trade our JP225, which might take time to fill, some time to fill. And then I'm going to yeah, turn on this second command prompt, and here I'm going to turn on my trading bot. So MT5 Hedger, it hedges exposure from Hyperliquid to my MT5 platform, and the trading bot does the analysis, right? It does the signal processing and places the trades on Hyperliquid. So I have these two processes separated, but I'm planning to combine them together very soon. So then what you will have to do is like just open one script, and then it will run from the same Python script basically. But for now, yeah, let's just turn this on. So here you can see like, yeah, I just confirmed that I want to start my hedge bot, confirmed that I want to start my trading bot. And so now my strategy on JP225 is running, right? So now we should soon be seeing some trades after the initial warm-up of my trading bot. And where's my water? There it is. And now you can see that like we are trying to submit sell orders, right? So here we turn on strategy, and liquid is low, right? So we won't have guarantee to get filled. But our orders here, and like if we get filled, then that would be great, and then we would hedge that with MT5, and then I can report like the P&L results. So right now we still have no positions open, so this is like my first yeah, attempt to run a strategy so we can like start trading. Okay, hey, love the stream. Do you ever worry about your edge being crowded out? Seems like a money printer. Why make it public? How do you? Okay, let's answer first question. This is my personal opinion, and prove me wrong. The reason I'm streaming is, of course, I'm trying to sell the strategy to my community, right? So I have a membership per month where you can like download the code and learn all the things I'm teaching on Livestream, right? So I feel like as like I'm not a bank, I'm not a hedge fund, right? I'm just one person trying to make money in trading. Uh, and like even though 100K or like I actually have like other accounts running, but let's just assume that I have like 100K, right? That's trading. Let's say on a good year, like on a good year, I make like 50%. I made 50K per month, right? Not per month, per year, because it's 50%. So I feel like that by selling the strategies and building a community and so on, I think I could make more than I could in trading, if that makes sense, right? So for that reason, yeah, it's purely business. And so I believe that even though the edge will diminish, I can always like try to make new strategies on other exchanges or other symbols, or keep very good ones to myself. Because uh, how would I say it? There are so many other banks and hedge funds on this planet that could do the same like me. And for some reason, like still the market is very inefficient. So me going out publicly with this, I still don't think that um, like yes, the edge would diminish, but it would not disappear. And so for that reason, I think I have better chances of becoming rich by doing both. So that's why. And so the second question is like, or another question from Juan Carlo. How do you deal with slippage? Do you enter with maker orders and exit with taker orders? Um, well, on Hyperliquid, I always enter and exit using maker orders. So I add liquidity on Hyperliquid, which basically guarantees the price. And then when my trade gets filled, so this is my hedge bot, right? This is my hedge bot that's listening to the exposure here. And so when a trade gets filled on Hyperliquid side, it then processes that fill and sends a market order to my MT5 platform. So that's how the system works. And another question. Do you need a lot of coding experience to learn to work with strategy if I join your community? Well, there are two approaches, right? So one is you learn to code with Claude or like yourself, like me, right? And like if you've visited my past live streams, you see that there's actually a lot of work being put into this project, right? But if you're just interested in just a trading itself or just a trading bot, it's as easy, as I said, as copying this folder, putting on the server, Control CV, set up some strategy settings, and you start it, right? So if you are just interested about the trading aspect, then I think it's very easy to get started. If you want to learn the coding part, you will probably need like a lot of time, and practice to write these strategies yourself. So it's up to you. But I think uh, yeah, just the trading part and just downloading, copying, and like trying some strategy settings uh, is actually the easy part when joining my community. Uh, then the more advanced part in the future will of course be the backtesting, right? So we're going to focus more on backtesting now. Right now, I'm still focusing on like making a robust system where it doesn't crash, all the data you see are correct, where the execution is, done with precision and high quality. So we're working on that, but I think we're getting to the final stages where we can actually just focus on strategy backtesting, and designing strategies and doing like yeah, all the various things, right, that include more research rather than technical implementation. Thank you for your honesty. I know what I was honest about, but you're welcome. What's the difference between alpha and risk premium? I don't know. I'm not a quant. Probably alpha is your edge, and risk premium is the premium for accepting some sort of risk, I would say. Yeah, let's get this money printer min-maxing. Yeah, that's also true. I'm actually really bad at min-maxing. Like, I'm really bad at trying to squeeze out the maximum out of little things. I'm really good at squeezing out. No, that sounds real bad. Like the minimum out of the best things. No, that doesn't sound good. I just like it when things are working well and they're solid. So maybe that's what I want to say. Okay, so our JB225 strategy is running. The current spread, if I check it now, right, is actually quite low now. So we'll just leave it running. We'll see what happens. If I check JP225 now, right? look at that, the spread is now 9, like we're at 0 basically. So we turn the strategy, and like now the spread is very tight. And so the next thing we can do is like trying to build our USD JPY position, right? The liquidity on USD JPY is slightly higher. Here we have 1 million. So how can you estimate liquidity in the market, right? So the probability of getting filled when you quote your limit orders. A good estimate is just by looking at historical volume, or the volume over the past 24 hours. So you see there's been a lot of activity in the past, or like if there's like high activity, then you know that there is also a high chance of getting filled. So if here the volume is like almost a million, so on USD JPY, you see that the volume is 2.5 million, almost 2.5 times more than on JP25. So in other words, we can assume that it's easier to get filled 2.5 times because the liquidity is higher. So this is just, an approximate, prediction. It's not going to be like exact, but it gives you a rough idea which markets are more suitable for trading for large and small accounts. Yeah, like that is very interesting. So and so let's check USD JPY. And so this one we could theoretically also trade. Like ideally, if I just went to silver and like make just $100 today, it wouldn't be bad either, right? Because silver still offers, quite a good like entry opportunity. Like I'm saying that even if you went break even on the spread, right? And that can happen. Like even if you went break the spread, we will make money on the funding rates. So in theory, going short silver is not a bad idea either. And we have 12 minutes to do that. So guys, I will just quickly set up a silver strategy, right? So I'm going to create a folder XYZ silver. And yesterday I tried Claude to pre-fill some strategy settings for me. It was actually really great. So I'm going to do the same today actually. Of course, you want to verify that the inputs are correct, but let's use AI here, right? So let's turn on Claude and tell him that we want to I want you to pre-fill the files for V1 trading bot and set up some strategy settings, right? So my trading bot, so how I manage my project is like in trading bots, you have versions V0, here's prototypes V1. I think this week I will just move like V1 into the versions because I haven't done many changes this week on this, and so I think I will consider it like a almost stable version, and then we can proceed to like V2 version about like continue prototyping like new versions of the trading bot. So another question here, how long have you been algorithmic trading? Have you ever traded discretionarily? Uh, well, I've been trading like algorithmically for like let's say 3 or 4 years. This is around the time I also picked up coding. I think I've been coding like for 6 years in Python, and like I started as a manual trader, right? So I mean, now I say it's a lame thing to do, right? But I was drawing lines, right? I was drawing lines, support resistances, stuff like that, candlestick patterns. Never really worked, so I gave up on that. Then I moved to algorithmic trading, and I've like been doing this type of arbitrage roughly for the past almost 3 years, I would say. And why use Hyperliquid? Well, the very obvious answer is like you just go to an exchange where you see money, right? Where you see opportunities, and Hyperliquid, or right now it seems like offers great opportunities because the RWAs, like you can trade, you can speculate on real world assets, RWAs like stocks, indices, forex, and so on. Uh, they, I see like a lot of market inefficiencies, and the commissions are quite low, right? So the commissions for these RWAs is very low, which means they're quite suitable for hedging with MT5, for example. So that's why I use trade on Hyperliquid. What data streams do you use for spreads? I just use the OHLC data from Hyperliquid and MT5. So all of these exchanges, allow to extract the historical data with Python. Of course, these are just 1-minute snapshots, so they're not very accurate. And I'm working on a system where I will save 1-second snapshots. And so once that is done, we'll have like accurate backtesting and signal processing using 1-second snapshot data. So I'm also like working on that. In arbitrage, inefficiency as an economist would assume traditional markets are more efficient than newer markets like crypto, where inefficiency is able to provide opportunities. Correct, yes. Well, uh, the thing is, you can call them traditional markets, right? But the liquidity and volume is very low. So if you go like to the New York Stock Exchange, right, or go to like any major exchange like the CME, there, of course, the market is very efficient, but this is a crypto environment, right? Every market needs a market maker, and it needs like participants, a market taker who trades on that exchange. And so if there are less people on that exchange, it's much more difficult to keep like balance and fair pricing across all these assets. And so you can have the assumption that, or like as an economist would say, right, you can have the assumption that traditional markets are more efficient or not, but we don't care what the economist thinks. We care what we see. And when you look at like this spike here, right, this is USD JPY on Hyperliquid. The economists can think a lot of things, but what I see is that the spread here is 0.18 and it's minus 0.339. And I'm just going to arbitrage that. So opinions don't matter. What matters is data and facts. So I am arbitraging it regardless of the economist's opinion. And yeah, correct. Theory does not equal reality. So a lot of things that you read online that people say, don't trust them, guys. Like just do it. Right? So many people have told me that Hyperliquid is efficient and you won't find any strategies there. And like, you have only two options. Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna bother, or yeah, I'm stupid and I'm gonna do it, and you're gonna watch. And now everyone can watch my live stream doing this thing. So my approach is like very stubborn. I don't listen to other people's opinions. I just want to, verify all things myself in many aspects in life, right? So I like to. Well, I don't want to say I'm right. I just want to say I want to see it for myself. That's like what I'm doing. So even though you might be 99% right, I will still go there and verify it myself. And that's not just a trade-related thing. We care about exploitation, not theory. Yeah. Great. Let's see if we have some improvements with our Hyperliquid arbitrage strategy, right? So we're still quoting the spread, but we get no fills. Oh, we do actually. So see, guys, we got a fill, but we're trying to exit. Guys, I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna change the topic for today. I think the best thing to do today is we should provide two-sided quotes on JP225, because what's happening here is like we enter a trade and now it's trying to exit because the spread is that huge. How does it sound if we did like sort of like a market making system where we try to provide the bid and ask spread at all times, and most of the time we will be at top of book. So I say I promise something, but uh, second thing, like we can do backtesting, we can do, nice dashboards and so on. But what I'm seeing right now is missed money and missed opportunity. So I'm just going to go back and continue resuming my old project, which is provide two-side quotes. So I'm actually going to do a V2 folder now, right? So what I can do, I think I'm ready to just move this one to inversions, right? So I'm moving these folders here. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a V2 folder, right, where I'm going to start a new strategy. And I'm going to use that like from V1. So we're going to continue from V1 and we're going to resume from V2 here. So, okay, first let's continue. Here we also want to trade on silver, but But usually I'm lazy, but when I'm at the screen, I see money, I feel like I'm missing out. So FOMO is a big emotion here. FOMO is different from greed, though. I think having FOMO is better than being greedy. FOMO means fear of missing out. The problem is if you're greedy and have FOMO, right? So a person who experiences FOMO as an emotion is very opportunistic, right? He feels like if I don't do it now, I will feel bad and regret not doing it in the future. So yeah, this is like my main motivation now. Nice. So guys, so we see that like we shorted, now we exited, right? So if I check the like the dashboard, like let's check the live dashboard, right? Let's look at JP225. If we caught a trade today, maybe we are on the wrong account. No. Yeah, we made 7 cents on this trade, but maybe it takes some time to update data. I think it's not real time. Otherwise, I'll check that later. Or let's check the live dashboard here and check JP225. Right. 6 cents. We made 6 cents. Well, not that much on a 100K account, but it's something, and that's why I need to do this V2 trading bot now. So first, let's finish this XYZ silver folder. I think silver is nice, but I'm gonna do the like let's say I'm gonna actually create a market making bot. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to provide constant bid and ask spread on JP25, and then I will narrow the spread down until I make the market efficient. In trading, it's actually kind of it's interesting how like a topic like the theory and economist and stuff like that and efficiencies. Like in life, there is always someone who has to do the thing, right? So ask yourself, like, who is cleaning dishes in your household? Whoops. Who is, I don't know, like doing the things because you assume things are done automatically, right? But if you don't know who is providing liquidity on this exchange, right? If you don't know, like, who the players are on this exchange, then I think assuming that something's efficient is like, yeah, already kills your edge because you are not able to see it in the first place, even though the edge is there. I just like to draw lines out of habit, not for any particular reason. It's like when you're bored sometimes, you just, draw on paper. So sometimes I just draw a line because I just feel like it. Right, just of how clean your setup is Wi-Fi or replace issue. Okay. Well, yeah, thank you. I don't think it's like that proper. Like I think I could like still optimize a little bit. Like instead of like importing the training bots into strategies, right? I could like specify the version here and then like put this into here. Also, if I code it myself, it would look much different because this is a project that's available from members, right? So I need to make sure that my members on Discord can actually understand what I'm doing. I can show you an example of my project on, like this is my project on arbitrage on futures, interactive brokers against NT5, and like I don't know, it's I have some random scripts laying around that don't have no business like being there, right? I copy various files. I copied V2 and V3 that actually have no like I don't know what I'm going to find here. That's the thing, right? There are like so many things I wrote, and like if you download this code, it would be a mess basically. My README file is empty also, right? So I have no README in this project, which is also quite interesting. I just tell them like I didn't share this project with anyone yet, right? Because this is first of all, I'm still not ready to release the futures because this is a project that I'll still have to do in the future, and yeah. So right now I'm like focused on crypto still because I see better opportunities on crypto at the moment. Okay, nice. So my position size is almost 100 USD JPY. So we're seeing some trades happening. On JP225, like still nothing, right? So yeah, so version control from V1 to V2. Okay, so let's see V2. So copy path reference. Okay, let's continue with Claude. Now it starts to look like mine. Yes. So I think it's like a normal thing, right? If you just code a project and no one's reading it, then you just do whatever. But once you have like people in your team or like people reading your code, then that's the time you actually start trying to add some structure. It could version 2026 0615. Yeah. I know, like I don't remember dates, right? So whenever I tell someone like, "Hey, download my new version," it's V2, V3, and like instead of telling them, "Hey, download version 0616 2026," right? I think just a number is easier to understand for me than the actual date. So in trading bot, I'm gonna call it trading bot two-sided, like two-sided quotes. Then I'm gonna like decide how to name it properly. That when it gets both entry and exit signal at the same time, it will place both buy bits and asks, similar like a market making bot. Can you create it using this file, this, as the base template? All right, and I need to call it a new file called stringbot two-sided dot py. Oh no, what did I do? Okay, I'm gonna copy this. I'm going to add this into a notepad. Okay, copy this. Never mind, I'm just gonna terminate this one, write Claude again, and then enter the prompt. Okay guys, so I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, so be right back in a few minutes, and let's continue with doing our JP225 bot. So be right back. Okay, so let's continue with our prompts. So let's see what Claude suggests here. And this one's gonna be like, I think I would almost call it a breakthrough in our arbitrage system, right? So in most cases, uh, like when the market is quite, like, let's say, efficient, you'll only have one signal at the same time. But in case of JP225, you could do very, very efficient market making, right? Uh, it would be kind of interesting if I actually create a trading bot, right, that could narrow down the spread to like extreme values, right? Let's say like on IC markets, for example, right, the spread is 4. So if I quoted like, let's say, a spread of 15, 24/7 on a single market, which uh, yeah, still has quite a lot of volume, right? It has like not this one. I mean the other one, JP225. Uh, in that case, I would have to like rework, my systems to be a bit more efficient and faster, right? The narrower the spread is, and like one of the members like mentioned that like my hedging system is not as fast as it could be. So we might also have to work at some speed and optimization. But while the spread is like very high, like 50 or 100, that doesn't like matter that much. So yeah, this is a very big change, and here we have like multiple order IDs that we're going to manage. And yeah, Hail AI. Best effort cancel manage order IDs. Says the process is like Claude will now output some new version of my new training bot. I will just turn it on on my testing account, and like once I test it on my testing account, then I will probably deploy it on the large account. Like from the training logic, nothing changes. It's more like the order management and the risk management logic that we're working on, right? So even though it sounds like a lot of work, what we're just doing is like we're like creating like uh, yeah. So right now it's just one manager that manages the order ID, and now we just need like two that does the bid and ask separately or independently, while also like keeping track of the exposure. Okay. So we have order IDs for ask and then order IDs for bid here. Okay, so I guess this is done. And so let me read about this string bot that now is able to provide two-sided quotes. And so yeah, we're touching the realm of market making, right? Market making, in other words, like adding liquidity, adding constant bid and ask prices at all times. And so So right now it's like somewhere in between arbitrage and market making. It's still like an arbitrage where like any price you quote is still like good for you. And like eventually like we can also try, you know, some market making systems. Like it depends like how you approach like the type of trade you want to catch, right? Because in most cases arbitrage only causes like price discrepancy on one side, and here we are just trying to quote the spread and compete with the top of book. Um, but at the end of the day, the edge is still the same. You buy for lower and sell for higher relative to the fair market price. So like market making arbitrage have sort of like the same edge, but specialize in different ways. And so I was thinking, right? So I haven't done a lot of market making, right? It's still like an interesting topic for me, but there are a lot of assets that have very, very low liquidity, right? Like GBP USDC. And so as you can see, this asset here only is 85,000. And the reason why is like the trading conditions on GBP USDC, they are not that good. So if I actually decided like to, you know, provide a very good spread, right? Very like efficient pricing, would the participants like see, oh, GBUSD has like very tight spread, good pricing, I can hedge it with MT5, and then as a result, a lot of people will trade it, right? So maybe I could then influence the market to have then higher volume, and while there is no competition, I can like, you know, uh, get the volume for myself. So this is like one of the ideas that I have, right? Focusing on these low liquid markets, new dexes that you know just try to deploy you know, some new assets, like even dollar index, right, has zero quotes. No one's quoting that. So it'll be like a fun experiment if I myself decide, okay, I'm going to be the market maker on DXY USDC and start providing quotes. And because there is like no one trading this yet, right? No one, like no participant, because of course there is no depth of book. Um, I would keep the entire flow to myself. So even though like how I say it, even a few people decide to buy or sell, I would have all the flow. So I was thinking, yeah, maybe we can try doing that. But the disadvantage is that for market making, the capital requirements are like slightly higher, right? And it's also very difficult to exit your positions, right? Because uh, like the people who buy and sell from you, they have to like sell it back, and so on a very low liquidity assets, uh, getting out of your position is can also be, you know, quite difficult. So I'm crypto perpetual trader trading since September 25 in Binance platform. If I have to start, I'll go arbitraging. Could you explain the path? Um, yeah, the path is. Hmm, let me think about it. Right. First, let me get some water, and I'll be back in 15 seconds. So if you want to start algo trading, of course, you need to learn the programming part, right? Maybe get a basic Python course to start trading, you know, and write your like initial Python scripts. That's step number one. And for arbitrage trading, like, uh, yeah, you just need to learn concepts like buying high, selling low, understanding spreads, right? Understanding, you know, maybe how to apply a Bollinger Band, create a mean reversion strategy, and then automate the process. So that's the, yeah, main approach for this type of trading. And what is your exit logic and stop loss? Well, I don't use stop losses. My stop loss is a margin call basically, or like close to being margin called. Uh, so you basically enter, you can, create like a buy level at this level, sell at this, and exit at the mean, right? So you just compute the spread, and right now you define like static entry and exit levels, right? So currently I define static entry and exit levels. And so this is my current like entry and exit logic. Okay. My training bot two-sided is almost done. So I'm really excited to try it out. Hey man, have a nice stream. I'm a blockchain app builder and love your content. Have a good day. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for joining the stream and the nice comment. And like, good luck with your blockchain apps as well. This is something I have no clue how it works, right? Like we're trading crypto, but to this day I don't know how crypto works exactly. It's still a big mystery to me. Would you consider sports betting? Some arbitrage opportunities available is like 3 to 10% return on investment. That's a solid investment. Uh, well, I have already reached 10% in 3 days, so I would prefer staying here. Let me show you the current P&L that I have right now. Uh, yeah, so we deposited like 100,000 on the 11th. So after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, I will reach 10%. So you need to yeah, you need to pitch me with something higher, unfortunately. So yeah, no sports betting for now. Plus, I don't know how I would even design strategy in sports betting. Uh, in sports betting, you need probably a very good data provider, right? Who can provide data from the teams, how they play. I don't really know how to do that. Maybe like arbitrage betting across different exchanges that have like different quotes, when teams buy and sell. But I feel like doing this probably will yield better returns in the long term. Wi-Fi money. Uh, okay. So let me just read through the changes from Claude, and like my training bot is done. And okay. Okay, so I guess yeah, we can now apply it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this file into my JP225 folder. So we go to strategies, and here in JP225, yeah, I'm going to paste it and hopefully it will work. And so also in strategy settings, let me just review some settings. Yeah, I'm just going to apply a very tight spread so I can like make sure that the trading bot is actually trading. So we're quoting a spread of 50, right? So here we're quoting a spread of 50, and yeah, everything seems to be fine here. So check interval, refresh interval, amend interval 0.25. And so, okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the strategy on JP225. Let me see if JP225 is disabled on my current account. Yeah, it seems to be disabled. So I'm going to run this. So what we need is turn on my MT5 hedger. So let's see exposure and hedges on MT5. But I mean, yeah, arbitrage betting, guys, can be profitable. Like if you like bet on college and poly markets, right? There are not like bookkeepers or like a counterparty that can ban you. So you can actually do it profitably. But it's just the 10% that was like told to me that is not that attractive to me. Um, I think there are a lot of people like who also make money on sports arbitrage betting. Like there are so many ways to make money in this world. I think it's all about like what you specialize in, right? So as I've mentioned, I prefer doing things I'm good at than trying new things, unless I see the potential that if learning a new skill set will yield like better returns, then like I will consider doing other things. But for now, I see so much work just on Hyperliquid that if I you know just keep working like this for next like I don't know 2 to 3 months, I will have such a beautiful trading system um, that where I think I won't need other alternatives. Okay, so here we are placing trades on Hyperliquid. So if I check the Hyperliquid, yeah, the Hyperliquid UI, let's see what we will find here. So here we have open orders, and let me open JP225. So right now we are only quoting the sell, right? We're only quoting the sell, and I need to check if sorry, that's my main account. I need to check if quoting two-sided Hyperliquid, right? Bid is false, ask is true. Because the current, I need to look at the current spread. So the current spread is 8 and 131. I mean, that makes sense, right? Because right now we have no position open. So once a position opens, we will quote the bid and ask spread at the same time. So yeah, let's see if that works. And let's also look at the position size that I have set. So it's 0.1. So it's quite small, right? We're testing right now, which is fine. But I think in theory I could go like 0.5, like for testing, and then we'll see. Right? Yeah, I can actually go much more. Let's do it like this, right? So here I'm going to restart a strategy, and so now we sort of have a market making bot, right? We just need. So when we have two signals running at the same time, we will like provide continuous bid and ask at the same time. I had planned to build an arbitrage bot for prop firms, but because of the rules, I couldn't make much progress. Have you ever considered building a bot for prop firms? Uh, I have a bot for prop firms. If you're interested, I can give it to you, but I have to look at, some old scripts that I have. It has like all the trading objective rules like MDL, ML, and so on. And it can also like hedge to MT5, so it can like hedge with MT5 a certain ratio. So yeah, so I can share it on Discord with my members. That's fine. Uh, but yeah, I don't like trading props in general. Like I stopped doing that like a few years ago because it's not. Um, I don't like their rules and that they have the power to deny you anytime they want, right? Like maybe like 5 years ago, right? The situation with props like was like still good when like my forex funds was still running, but I think at this point I would call any prop business a scam at this point, right? They're just scamming you because they can always say no to your payout, always. Like, of course, they say, oh, based on our terms and condition, on like based on our assessment, like we're denying you, right? But yeah, I'm just going to call the business a scam now. It's funny because when I worked there, we called the clients scammers when they were taking money from us. So there's a little bit of hypocrisy going on here, guys. But it's always what? Just go. There's a bit of hypocrisy going on here, but it's always the people who take money from you that you call them scammers. My colleague just went to me and like warned me that big prop it might go after him if I keep talking like this. The big prop is after me. So, where are the more questions? How do you compute the spread and what are the units? Are the units in index points, USD per contract, or something else? And is this consistent across all symbols, S&P 500, GPY, and XEU? Well, the spread is just the absolute amount, right? So here, you just take the absolute difference between the two prices, and so the units are like in absolute values, right, based on the currency of the asset, and like this like if you check like various symbols, like every symbol is like different, right? So if you just check the S&P 500, you can just check it for US 500. Did I write the symbol correctly? Let me refresh the page and see. Oh, so XYZ SP5. Oh, this is correct. So here you see the spread for US 500. Here we're like between 6 and 0. So you will find price deviations, you know, between like all assets, right? The question is the difference high enough for you to make a profit trading the arbitrage? So, so yeah, so it all depends on the analysis and the backtest of every like symbol pair, right? Touching the sharp question in an empty chat says it all. You have no edge, just a really lucky streak on Bbook Broker. Keep hiding, no release. Okay, I see that this guy is rage baiting because first of all, I don't see the sharp ratio question. Oh, what is your sharp ratio question? I don't know. I don't compute the sharp ratio. So that's fine. And so let's keep going. Guys, sometimes you can't convince people even though, let's say he is right? Let's say I'm just having a lucky streak on the Bbook Broker. Obviously, we don't have to argue with that person. So let's keep going. Okay, so let's see. Like, well, I think Juan Carlos is missing the fact that we are not like first of all, we're not B-booking, right? We can't do B-booking. B-booking is a term used for brokers. So people who don't even understand what B-book is, I think there is no need to discuss it. I'm just gonna ban him. It's gonna be easier, guys. No need to, you know, how do you do it? Hide user on this channel. Yeah, it's fine. None. You know, sometimes, yeah, dealing with people who just cause rage in the chat, probably it's better to just hide them. And as he said, he doesn't want to talk to me either. So let's keep going. Do you trade full time? Yes, I'm trading full time right now. And based on the, you know, last things, I'm also yeah, live stream almost full time, I would say. So after fees, what percent is your edge return investment? So let's just look at our testing account for now. Like once I have like 30 days on my once I have 30 days on like the combined P&L, like if I go to the testing account, then I always forget how much I make. I just need to, you know, 694. Let's do a quick calculation again. 694 divided by 11,000. 6.3% after 3 weeks right now. That includes all funding rates, all commissions, and so on, and all fees. So yes, I noticed the hyperlink side of the hedge for GPU was not recorded in the P&L. I see only a loss. Let's use. Oh yeah, so like I assume like yesterday we traded the JP225. I can show you that. I tried to explain on live stream what happened. So this was a manual error on my side. When we just look at the, is this correct? No, it's actually on the my dashboard is actually bugging out. But yeah, let's go to the public dashboard. Maybe there it's saved correctly. Oh, my MT5 restarted when I restart dashboard. That's probably the reason I need to fix that. I think I fixed that before, but it's happening again. So when I restart the dashboard, it seems that my MT5 disconnects and then I get no data. So here on the public dashboard, like if we, or actually on the large account, if you just check the P&L report and check JP225, it's minus $85. So what happened is that I set up wrong trading sessions. So basically this is like which allows uh, disabling or, disabling trading bot when the market hours are off on MT5. And so yeah, as a result, I had an unhedged position over the weekend, which cost $85 a loss on JP25. So this was caused due to manual mistake. So then I changed the trading sessions and it's fine. So that was caused due to unhedged exposure. Quant Carl is the economist? Oh, right. Then we don't. That's a funny thing. It's okay, guys. I don't want to hate on people because sometimes what they say, they're like actually serious, right? When they try to prove to you that they are right, they're actually serious and they think they are right. And some people like don't understand when they see things like this, right? Arbitrage trading is a very advanced topic, and so I feel like if you don't understand how it works, then it's okay to think that I'm a scammer. Actually, his way of thinking is correct. Like in almost all cases, when you go on social media and see an influencer, you should always assume it's a scammer, right? So I'll ask yourself the question: is this guy profitable? Is he, you know, whether what he's saying does it make sense and stuff like that? So I think like when it comes to trading, you should definitely be more skeptical than not. Have you tried latency arbitrage on CFD brokers? No, I have not. So I tried to do some systems, but my scripts were too slow. So basically, with latency arbitrage, you try to exploit slow data feeds with MT5 brokers, and so I haven't had any success with that. I think the main reason is that at that time I didn't have any reliable, like fast data source, and like you also need to know, how the broker operates internally. If they're like booking you, or if they're like STPing you to the real exchange. And most cases, when the broker books you, that's the moment you know that you can apply a latency arbitrage. Everyone for the cloud sub is a quant these days, Lo. That's right. Uh, okay, right now the spread is very low again. It's 56. So we're not having any. You know what, guys? I'm actually going to go even low, right? I'm going to like 50 and 0. Or, let's just wait. Let's be patient. It's a matter of time until we get filled. Yeah, just drawing in lines and lighter. Okay, so our JP225 script is running. I think it was running successfully, but we haven't had any trade. And interestingly, like we have a very tight spread right now, a spread of 61. So maybe I should narrow it down even more. I have to check first. Like let's do some analysis like on the historical spread, what the fair value is, and I will narrow down the spread even more, right? So we're going to actually compete with the current market makers or like the exchange participants. So maybe what I'm doing is lowering the edge a little bit. I don't know. Could be. But also what I need to do is like when I restart dashboard.py, I need to fix this bug where I restart MT5 when I restart dashboard. And so I want to make sure that my MT5 keeps running even after I restart it. When I restart dashboard.py, MT5 seems to restart too, and my other scripts crash. What are the fixes for this? Question mark. Also, can you provide an overview of all the different types of arbitrage, like statistical, correlate, triangle? What is the next level if we want to improve? So, like, let's just, write down in this file, like, what types of arbitrage exist, right? So here we can just list down all the arbitrage strategies, that like come to my mind. And so arbitrage there is just, knowing the fair value of a certain asset and knowing that you can like buy for cheaper or sell for more expensive, right? And so you can apply like various arbitrage strategies on different symbols, assets, markets, or like different systems. So there's like this, I call it like classic arbitrage, right? That you see in textbook or a spot arbitrage. So this type of arbitrage, let me also make this a bit larger, right? Basically, you have one exchange where you can, for example, with currencies, right? You can do it on Forex, stocks, and so on. So you buy a cheap stock on one exchange, you send this stock to another exchange, and then you sell the stock on the other exchange for more expensive, right? So you can actually transfer your assets from one exchange to another, and as a result, yeah, make money like that. So this includes, well, yeah. So here we assume that we can transfer assets from one exchange to another and sell and like buy and sell them almost immediately at the same time, right? So we can, for example, buy, let's say, like Apple on the New York Stock Exchange, but you also have stock exchanges in Europe, right? So you can try to transfer that Apple stock to, European Stock Exchange, or you have like an inventory of Apple stocks, right, in various exchanges, and you just buy and sell at the same time while like trying to keep a delta neutral inventory by, for example, hedging with CFDs or futures, uh, but that's how we can, for example, execute multiple trades on multiple exchanges. So this is like a classic arbitrage that you see online, like when you do statistical arbitrage, right? So here you like trade correlated assets. So this is like not like the risky arbitrage. Uh, so you could, I mean, the classic, example online that you have is like Coca-Cola, right? Uh, and Pepsi. And a lot of people tell you that like they're not co-integrated, right? So here we run like co-integration tests, right? Co-integration tests, right? You would create like a mean backtest mean reversion strategies, right? Then you have things like cash and carry arbitrage, right? Cash and carry arbitrage. Uh, so cash and carry arbitrage involves like buying a spot asset, right? So you could buy Bitcoin, for example, right? You could buying spot asset where you pay no funding rates, and then selling like a perpetual futures contract, right? Selling or shorting a perpetual or futures contract, uh, like it can work on futures and perps, right? And you will get a positive carry by holding a short, because if you, for example, look on Hyperliquid, right, you can buy Bitcoin, you don't pay any interest rate because you finance it with cash. And then if you go to BTC USDC, right, you see that Bitcoin here has a 7.35 annualized funding rate, which changes over time. But if you short it, you will make money every hour in funding rates. So that is called a positive carry, and that's why it's called a cash and carry arbitrage, right? So here, make money every hour on funding rates. Or if you trade futures, you would get the basis premium, right? So there's like a future spot basis. And so if you trade futures, you won't get like in the hour, but it's already priced into the futures price where you like converge from, yeah, from a basis which converges to zero. Another thing is like this, like uh, like our arbitrage, right? So we are doing so what we're doing here is like arbitrage. We're arbitraging perpetuals against CFDs, and in this case, yeah, we're just trading two derivatives, right, that have their own pricing and their own funding rates, right? So this one, in my opinion, like can be quite difficult, right? Because yeah, you need multiple exchanges, you need asset inventories and good conditions with the exchanges. This one is a bit more advanced because you don't trade exactly the same assets, so you need to run like specific configuration tests, back mean reversions, and so on. But it is doable. Then you have cash and carry arbitrage, right? So with cash and carry, this is very simple because you just buy the spot asset and then make money every hour on the perpetual futures contract, and then we can arbitrage per the CFDs. Like, to be honest, I can show you a quick example how to do a cash and carry arbitrage on Hyperliquid, right? And then like on my testing account, and then like in a week or two, I can show you how we made money on this strategy. So a cash and carry arbitrage. Let me see, if first, let me continue the prompt. So when I'm done with explaining, oh, without path, never shut down from the dashboard. Okay, let's just continue this. So let's do cash and carry arbitrage together on live stream. So today we're going to go to the spot, right? We're going to buy a Bitcoin. So here what we can do is like we need some cash, right? And I think we do have some cash. So let's buy like in USDC amount, let's buy, that's too much, because then I wouldn't have the money to trade on my, I think $500 USDC is fine. So we're going to place the order. So it's like a manual cash and carry. I have to be very fast because I usually would do it with a script, because then you like add a maker order, right? And then you hedge it with the BTC perpetuals, right? So here we want to buy 500 USDC worth of BTC. I will, I will do it as a limit. I will like add liquidity order, right, to reduce the commission. I will quote it at the mid price like this. All right. So I place the order now. Bitcoin is like, quite volatile, so never mind. So we place the order, we buy it now, and I need to, authenticate my Hyperliquid because of security reasons. And 254198. So we go mid prices, we place orders, we buy. So we place the orders, buy, and then once that gets filled, we go to our perps, right? Uh, right? And here we have to short 500 USDC equal, right? We have to short 500, and then I would like probably send this a market order, right, to sell it. So right now, if you look at positions or like balances, we're still waiting to get filled, like on our Bitcoin position. Oh, did I send 2 orders accidentally? Maybe I did. Oh no. So here we have our Bitcoin, right? It seems like price moved a little bit away from us, so I need to God, this is so, my JP2 bot is now like also making it a bit difficult. 66430 66. Oh God, guys, this is crazy. I don't know how to deal with this. Maybe I should just stop my trading bot for a second to show you the example on the cash and carry arbitrage. So I'm gonna stop my trading bot because I can't deal with this, jumping orders. So balances I have is all good. So here, what we need to do is we need to buy $500 worth of Bitcoin at 66430. So this is going to be my limit price. And oh no, I almost bought 66,000 Bitcoins. That would have been very bad, guys. Imagine if I bought 66,000 Bitcoins accidentally. Luckily, we're on a research account, so nothing bad here. So we buy 500 USDC worth at limit, quote at mid price. We place the order. Again, mid price, place the order. Beautiful, it's been placed. And now we go to fast to perps. We go to BTC USDC. We sell. We do 500 USDC worth of Bitcoins, and then we place it as a market order. Bitcoin has been filled, so we place the sell 500 USDC, sell short, and we created a hedged cash and carry arbitrage. All right. All right, for AUS, thank you for coming to the stream and good night. See you tomorrow. It was nice to have you here on stream. So here we finally, create our cash and carry arbitrage. So here what you can see is we own like roughly 500 USDC worth of Bitcoin, and then we shorted $500 worth of BTC futures, right? And here, because the funding rate is 7%, we're going to make money on the funding rates every hour. And then, for example, in a week, we can then check this trade and see how much money we made. So we know we invested $500 worth of Bitcoin, right? So this is our value. And then we can check the P&L of this Bitcoin trade later, right? So we just have to write down 500 on here, 500 here, and then do some accounting later. And the stat arb can also work for currencies, right? Yeah, for currencies is a bit like different, right? Because if you look at currencies like oh, I forgot to mention triangle arbitrage, right? Triangle arbitrage is also a very common thing where you can like do current arbitrage across multiple legs, like currencies or crypto. In crypto, like triangle arbitrage or multi-leg arbitrage is like also a common thing to do, and shouldn't you have bought MLBTC and not USD to be fully neutral? You are actually right. Seven five two 752. Yeah, but the price difference here probably is so minimal that it almost doesn't matter here. But you are right. If you wanted to hedge it correctly, you should have bought like in BTC, not USD. But here I check like the value in BTC and USD is like almost the same here, so it actually doesn't matter. If you look, it's 752 right here, the size, and here it's 752. So it's all right. But in theory, like if you want to do a proper hedge, I should have done in BTCs. The thing is, I didn't want to recalculate BTC into USD amount because then I would be scared to accidentally open like 0.1 bitcoins, which would be like $6,000. So I just decided to use the spot. Uh, okay, so let's explain a cash and carry, right? Let's explain. So step number one, I bought 500 USD worth of Bitcoin. Then I sold 500 USD, or let's call it short, right? Because we're shorting. I short 500 USD worth of BTC perp, right? Which is basically the perpetual futures on based on Bitcoin. So we are basically delta neutral, which means that no matter if Bitcoin goes up or down, uh, the price of Bitcoin, like if I make money on my spot trade, right? If I hold Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin goes up, I make money on the spot trade, but I lose money on the Bitcoin perpetuals. And overall, like the net profit is going to be zero on a delta neutral strategy. It's not like exactly zero. Sometimes spot and futures can deviate, which can happen. But overall, in the long term, you are not going to make or lose money, right? So no P&L swing. So what is the edge of the strategy? The edge of the strategy is that the funding rate on Bitcoin, right, here is positive, which means short trades will make money over time, every hour actually. So here you see the funding history. So on USD JPY, I made money on funding rate on USD JPY. I also made money on funding rate on JP225. I also made money on the funding rate. You see that our arbitrage strategy in most cases makes money on the funding rate. And so our edge is like we don't lose any money. Like we have to, pay for commission, right? That's what we have to do. We have to pay for commission. Uh, that's what we have to do. But our edge in the strategy is like we make money in the funding rates every hour, almost, right? There are cases where you have negative funding rates on perps. Sorry, and that is when the perpetual futures drops below the current like Oracle price, which can happen, but in most cases, you will make money in the funding rates, right? So this is the cash and carry arbitrage that we're talking about. So you're delta neutral and you make money every hour on the payment. And so tomorrow, like right now, my Bitcoin trade is like open. So tomorrow, maybe I can try to provide a short analysis on the funding rates that I'm going to receive. And also we're going to compute the time to break even, right? So we have to cover the commission to open this trade, and that may take some time. So we'll compute the time to break even, and then from that moment on, we'll also compute, uh, how much money we're going to make by the end of the year. So like as you can see, like annualized 7.55%, right? So this is our annualized rate. We have to provide margin on our Bitcoin position here, which is okay because we use cross margin, so we share the margin across all our accounts, and our Bitcoin P&L also affects our margin at the moment. So yeah, so just so you know, this is how you do the cash and carry arbitrage. And like back to the currencies, right? I'm sorry, I also wanted to mention the currencies. If you trade Euro USD, right, GBP USD, right, you try to apply a statistical arbitrage on Euro USD buy, right? And you, for example, do GBP USD sell. Like you assume that this is like a statistical arbitrage, which you can assume, right? But if you buy Euro USD and sell GBP USD, it's the same like buying Euro GBP, right? Because the USDs cancel out because of buying selling, but you're left with Euro and GBP. So instead of calling statistical arbitrage on Euro USD against GBP USD, you're just analyzing Euro GBP, right? So this is the triangular relation of currencies, right? So when you do currency trading, buying USD, selling GBP is the same as buying Euro GBP, and then you can just check the cross rate between these two assets. So when you close the two positions, long and short, whenever you want. So as long as this position is open, I'm going to make money on the funding rates. So I will just close it when I feel like that the funding rates I receive are not good enough, or maybe the perps will flip like funding rates, so it will go lower, And so as a result, I will stop making good fundings, then I can close it. And so it just depends up to you if you are happy with the current funding, and that's all. And so overall, crypto has like a 10.95% annualized funding rate as a default, and it oscillates right around, based on if the current perp is above or below the Oracle price. Why wouldn't everyone just buy spot Bitcoin and short the perp to get the cash and carry ARB? Let me ask you this question. Why don't you do it right now? I think about the arbitrage, like you see free money on the table, but only a few people actually decide to do it, right? So how many of you on the live stream see that, oh, this strategy makes sense, let me try it, it's free money, right? How many of you will actually deposit to Hyperliquid or any crypto exchange, buy BTC spot, sell the perp, and apply the cash and carry arbitrage? And that's the human nature. People are lazy, or they don't fully understand it, or they feel like, oh, it's just 10% per year. And so the people who want to do cash and carry arbitrage are the type of people who have already decided that they do want to do the cash and carry arbitrage. I could imagine if this information was made publicly to everyone on the planet, like right in front of their eyes, right? They would have like a force screen in front of their eyes, and they would have like a 5-minute ad and explanation how to do a cash and carry arbitrage. I will bet like maybe like 90%, like at least 90% of people would never touch it or would never try it. And it's because they feel like there are other strategies that maybe they could trade, or they didn't fully understand it, or I don't know. And that's a funny thing, right? I can explain profitable trading strategies, but only a few of you guys will actually either download a trading bot and trade it, or trade a cash and carry arbitrage. It all depends on you guys. If you really like want to learn how to make money trading, you have to commit to actually doing it, right? So, and most people won't, and that's just the truth. Most people won't. And like as the economist said, right? Let's go back to our economist. There's also a second saying, like, uh, there's a saying like arbitrage trading, or like market inefficiencies are impossible, because when there's an inefficiency, it's going to be immediate arbitrage, and that's of course wrong, because if that was true, then everyone would go to Hyperliquid and try to apply arbitrage themselves, right? So yeah. Yeah, true, but so we have a comment like, what is like the funding rate, right? And like it also depends on a bull or a bear market. So the funding rates, right? Like right now it dropped to like 1%, right? So right now it's actually quite bad. If you look at the funding history, so our short position Bitcoin, which you can see here, made 0.4 cents, right, in 1 hour, which is great. So this is like our edge in the cash and carry arbitrage. And like it depends like on the current market state and like how you want to split your capital. For example, you can like put 70 or 80% of your Bitcoin into the cash market and use 20% of your main capital to provide margin to short the futures, right? The perp. And then you would have to do like constant rebalancing, risk management, make sure you avoid liquidation on one side, I mean just on the perp side, and then at the end of the day you might be left maybe with like, let's say, 4, 5, or 6%, depending on the market conditions. And like sometimes the funding rates are very high, right? Sometimes I see funding rates that can already be like even 15 to 20% in some cases. That can happen sometimes. So when the funding rates are very high, that might like be an incentive for you to actually do the cash and carry arbitrage. So yeah, so here's just a strategy, and as you can see, I don't trade myself. Like for me, the return on cash and carry is a bit too low. But what I could do is I could borrow money from a friend or a bank. This is not an advice, right? I would promise him like 5% annually. I would make 6% on the funding rate arbitrage. Sorry, on the, it's also funding rate arbitrage, the cash and carry arbitrage. I keep 1% almost risk-free and return the 5% yield to my friend. So this is like how I like approach also, yeah, making like risk-free returns, right? Like, is the funding rate arbitrage above the risk-free return? If it's enough, I could in theory do that, but I would like prefer allocating my capital into the strategy that I'm showing you here right now. And I need to turn on my trading strategies again. So let's continue with our project. So I still need to fix the dashboard. It's shutting down. Okay, so dashboard has been changed. So like this last dashboard will crash my MT5, and this will also crash my training bot. Let's restart those two. And like let's restart dashboard again. No, it's crashing again. Let's try to fix the dashboard first. Keep one MT5 term running. Start manually. Log in with save account information ticked and start it before any script. As long as no Python process is in. Okay, so they tell me to manually start the MT5 account, which I did, and then I should restart dashboard. And then if I restart it again, okay, so I have to manually start my MT5 account to avoid the crashes. So yeah, so this is interesting. At least we fixed that, and let's continue our two-sided trading strategy on JP225. Okay, so like I'm interested to see the BTC trade. So maybe, and as you know, like the annualized rate is not always like 10%, sometimes lower, sometimes higher. Depends on the market dynamic. So sometimes also like the cash and carry arbitrage might not exceed the risk-free rate, right? If you invested in some bonds, maybe you would have better returns. So it always like depends based on the current market state. Okay, let's check my dashboard and my live results. So sadly, no like big trades today. We have uh, our USD JPY position. However, oh, we can see our BTC also here, right? So here we see our BTC trade, and so what I see is that I have a very small position on JP225, which is great because, but it's not a big one. It's very small value, but it's already in profit. And once it exceeds a certain amount, it will then hedge on MT5. So now let's look at this script here. So now we're back to trading JP225 on this account, right? So we have this thing here. And for some reason, yeah, we have USDJPY on my remote server, so that is trading, so that's fine. So nice. So now we can just go back to testing my JP225 trade, and hopefully, we'll have like constant two-sided quotes. So in theory, let's check the spread. So right now, what is the spread? The spread is like 122 plus 31. So it looks like we can like sort of enter and exit. Like here we have our like entry rule. We're at 100, and so if the bid price drops below 30, we also like want to exit, right? So we could exit here, And let me check the strategy settings one more time. And we're exiting at 30. Oh, that's a mistake. We're exiting minus 30. So yeah, good thing that we double checked. So restart and let's do that. Hey Thomas, welcome to the stream. So what we're working on is like today I mentioned that today has been quite yeah, the trading has not been very active. So I decided, to, review some strategies and how to optimize them. And so what I saw on JP225, and this is something I want to do like for some time already, is that the spread is very high, right? So instead of waiting for a trading bot to always quote the ask and bid price separately, right? I can provide a like bid and ask at the same time, right? So there are like signals where you can enter and exit when the spread is large enough. So today we're testing a new strategy on JP225 where I'm selling and buying at the same time. So you might see like two quotes visible at the same time, which will then increase the volume, and increased volume then means like more money basically. No, you're not. Oh, so yes, Aviation, you're doing nothing wrong. It depends on the current market like situation, right? I just wanted to show you an easy example how you can make sort of risk-free money by buying a spot asset and then make money funding rates. But if you want to really make money with a cash and carry arbitrage, you should probably have like a screener with the various funding rates, so you can always like find the best like opportunity. So what I'm showing here is just an example how you can make money, but if the return is too low for you, then to trade cash and carry effectively would be to look into, let's say, different markets, right? Different exchanges, different markets, and check when the funding rate is good. So for example, here on JP225, right, what you see is that the funding rate is 28%. So why don't you like buy some JP225 ETF spot asset where you don't pay any funding rates and sell on Hyperliquid for this high annualized rate? This is also like a form of cash and carry arbitrage. And like to step it up, one step further, you don't need to use cash, right? So what we're doing here is I'm not using cash, I'm using a CFD, which is a derivative. So I'm doing a derivative against a derivative arbitrage. The concept is the same. For cash assets, the interest is 0. For CFD assets, the interest rate is 9 points, 9.7 points. And so if we have to convert that to an annualized funding rate, so 9.765 times 365 divided or divided yeah, here, divided by 66,000, divided by 100 first, and then divided by 66,000. And that is because the Japanese yen is like almost 0 funding rate, right? It is like a very, very low number, right? It's very low, the funding rate here. So, so with cash, the net funding rate is basically 0 for cash plus the funding rate from the perp. And for like derivative against derivative, you just take the net funding rate of both assets. The concept is actually the same. Yeah, I'm sort of a liquid provider on JPY because I'm providing like bid and ask quotes when the spread or the price deviates too much from the fair market price. I don't provide it constantly, like 24/5 or 24/7, but whenever I see a price discrepancy, I will then add liquidity to my trading strategy. And yeah, I still forgot to turn my trading bot here. Um, so now, yeah, we're sort of providing like a market maker, liquid provider, and like if we want to be a proper market maker, we would like try to place our limit orders there 24/5, right? And we can still keep the same hedging logic on MT5 and so on. But yeah, so to become like a market maker, we would just compute our buy and sell levels and quote these prices all the time. as long as we have enough money, of course, right? So if the inventory is running low, so if we are running out of margin, then we might have to pull the quotes on one side and only quote our exit price, basically. And you see here, we have buy and sell at the same time right now. So this is beautiful, right? So we are top of book on both sides for very short periods. So if you push it to the absolute extreme, right? Very tight spread and like try to, really quote it all the time. This is like the first step to becoming a market maker. And this is like quite fun because this is the first time I've deployed like two-sided quotes today, and I'm testing that with you live on stream at the moment. Right? See that? We have like buy and sell at the same time again. And what's cool here, like look at this, like there is 17,000 JPYs at top of book. That is crazy. 17,000. Because 17,000, oh no, that's in USDC. I thought it's JP225s, but the volume's in USDC, so it's fine. So that's actually us. We're quoting that price. Yesterday I felt sad and concerned about black swan liquidations coming. Definitely, thanks for sharing. Yes, so I don't want to, say it's absolutely risk-free, right? Whenever you trade anything, you should always think about the worst case scenarios. And these black swan events, they are just part of the game, right? They're unlucky if you catch them, but they're part of the game, and we have to assume that we might always be a victim of such events. So enjoy the profits. Don't get too greedy. Don't over leverage. And if you make like good returns already, then everything should be fine. And like you have to like have a hypothetical scenario what would happen if actually a black swan event happened, right? Like it could happen to me. I could lose like 30% of my account, $30K loss in a single day, and then I would probably be a little bit sad. But then I would go back to trading, continue trading as usual, and hopefully make it back in a few months, right? This is beautiful. Like having like two-sided quotes now, these are the little white dots that we have here, is like really cool. So we're trading buy and sells at the same time, and that would be pretty cool. Do you worry about other bots in the same market since you're competing with them? Um, Not at the moment. So right now, I don't feel like we're competing too much, right? Maybe except on JP225, there might be competition, but on the larger markets, right? Because I focus on, at least on my large account, I focus on liquid markets like SP 500. So on my large account, I try to, yeah, basically, yeah, there's no issue with the liquidity. So yeah, I'm going to run this overnight, and then if this is working well, then probably I could turn it on my large account tomorrow also. Uh, and even if you don't place a trade today, like nothing bad, right? Sometimes the markets don't show any opportunities and you don't need to chase. But while we are here, so we're still working on some alternatives, right? So this is basically an alternative, and let's look at the market now and see if we can like find any other opportunities. So yeah, again, we're going through the uh, XYZ, right? We're going through XYZ, see what do we have here? Like SpaceX has 38% funding rate right now. Oh, SpaceX seems kind of fun to trade actually. Like I said, I try to avoid stocks, but because SpaceX is so special, we can like try to make like a small trade on SpaceX today. We have to wait for market open in 15 minutes, right? So we can hedge it. But SpaceX, like, sounds like fun, sort of. And like besides SpaceX, what do we have? Like silver again, like we checked silver today, now it's back at the usual funding rate. So silver is fine. Can't trade it now. Korean stocks are always interesting. Like Korean stocks have very, very high funding rates, right? 300% annualized. And I don't know why that is. I need to like research that. And I don't know, how to access Korean markets also, maybe interactive brokers, because you can't trade them on IC markets, for example. So I don't know how the funding rate is computed with Korean stocks. Or Samsung, right? You see we have 300%. And that, in my opinion, is like really crazy. Like, why? Yeah, Korean stocks have very high volatility. That is true. But I'm like more concerned about the funding rate, which means that the Korean stock is on Hyperliquid is heavily mispriced compared to uh, the actual stock market. Could it be that there are like some insiders, who know more and just push the price down or something? Yeah, that is like so interesting to me. Like I'm like 300%, right? Why don't I just buy at this level, right? Why don't I just buy the Korean stock at this level and try to make money on that? Because yeah, again, 300% is a lot of money. Like I could afford price to go down to 20, right? And then that's 10%, which means that after like 1 month, if after 1 month the price drops down to 200, I'm still going to break even if this funding rate like keeps up. That's the interesting part. Okay, platinum is quite high, 39%. Oil is also quite interesting, 43%. And let's go to Felix, for example. Gas looks interesting. Oh, 16% on USA 500 USDH. I mean, that's like sort of doable. I think like we could trade that. It's 71, which means it's $2 away from the mark price. Like also one thing, guys, right? So maybe on SP 500, if we check the spread today, like I'm saying, like we have to look for other symbols, but what I just realized is we can also tighten the spread on my SP 500 strategy. I said that what I can do is like right now we're entering at 4, right? We're entering at 4 and -4. In theory, the strategy is profitable also, like if I set it like to, let's say, 3, right? And like exit at 0. Like I can do things like that. And then I can like enter at like -4 and, oh, other way around. I can, yeah, I can do something like this. So 4 and -1. Like the funding rates are a bit skewed towards like, if you go short on a stock, you will make positive, you have positive carry, right? Or positive funding rate. Not sure if on this one, but what you see is that the funding rates on Hyperliquid, if we look at like, not this one, but in XYZ, like very often for the most part, they're positive, right? So when you short, you make money. If you go to XYZ 100, here they're positive. So there is this positive carry that you have when you short positions, or like stocks, or stock indices. And so that's why we can also skew the price slightly. So we are, optimizing the entry levels to actually, be in favor of the funding rate. So do you only buy sell on the side that the net funding rate is positive? Yes. So as part of this arbitrage strategy, I will always try to go in the same direction as the funding rate, such that I make money like on the spread and also the funding. So two edges in one. Okay, let's look at Hyperliquid, JP225. So now we're still selling 21,000. And like it's like a waiting game, right? So we just wait to get filled. Eventually we'll get filled, but it will take some time. So yeah, I wanted to look at the spread on SP 500. So we can go to historical spread, and so here we can load it. And like today, So it's 16th, right? So today the price was at 4 for a second in the morning, but what didn't stay there for long. Plus, this is just a snapshot here. So maybe like if I narrow the spread to 3, right? Let's say to 3 or 2.5, I might have like better chance of getting filled. But then I wouldn't have made that much money in the previous days, right? In the previous days, I entered at 4. So it's always like the risk, right? This is always like the risk when you trade like this. It's like uh, tighter spread, higher chance of getting filled, but less profit. And then the market actually goes like in your favor, then you also lose out on potential profits, right? So applying this strategy setting uh, might be good in the short term, but who knows if it's good in the long term. So that's why backtesting, like, can be, oh no, I didn't want to update the settings. Okay, I need to revert the changes on JP225, so I'm just gonna copy, whoops, the JP225 folder here. Actually, just the strategy settings on JP225, which is this one. Yeah, it's this one. So I add it here. And like on my large account, you can see that we're already trading like the JP225. It's like not much, but we're still trying to get filled, which is great. But it will still take like lots of time to get filled here. So it's just running. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, what I want to do is actually change the strategy settings on the server on SP500, right? So here I have my SP500 strategy. Right now the spread is 0, so like no signal. But here if I go to strategies and go to SP500 and go to strategy settings here, then yeah, I can change my entry. Like I can leave the entry here, but I can skew shorts more like towards 3 and 0 to have higher chance of getting filled. We still make $3, right? Which is great. In theory, I could also like enter at 2, right, or 2.5. I think I would still make a profit, but then I would like be stretching a little bit too much. Once you get too close, you risk your profit margins decrease drastically. So I'm just gonna leave it here, and then I'm just going to restart both scripts here. So Control C to end the scripts, run the hedger, and here I'm going to run my trading bot, and then the new trading settings should be applied here, which we can then check in the terminal here. And so yeah, now you see that my sell is at 3, exit at 0, entry -4, and exit -1. Right, so this is it. The price unit is the absolute value of the asset, right? So it's the market price subtracted from the other market price. So there is no normalization going on in this case. I don't like to normalize because I think in absolute numbers when it comes to trading, so I can like understand the exact like distance, right? Because then when I compute commissions, swaps, and profit, I can then compute the commissions in absolute amount, right? Instead of percentages again, and then I can subtract the commission from the absolute spread, or what I'm targeting, and then I can like quickly understand if it's profitable or not. Okay, cool. So we're trading close short. So we have a buy signal, then an exit signal. Yeah, I think this is gonna be great. Like JP225, like always when I stream it, it doesn't do much, right? But every time I show the profits overnight, it's always like crazy. So uh, it is actually just being patient with this, because once you get filled for a very, very good price, and so when you exit, the profits are like huge, right? So it's, as I said, it's a matter of like almost hours to fully allocate a position on JP225. And so if we want to also look at the spread of JP225, right? And so what I can do is like right now I'm trying to like sort of compete and offer a good price. But the question is, how low can we go, right? How tight can the spread be? if we really tried to push it. And so for some reason, I'm not getting, oh, no, now I'm getting it. So I need to know exact the fair value where the funding rate is like 0, right? Or something like that. And like I feel like if I short even at 50, right? If I short at 50 or 100 or 80, right? I usually always like provide 80 in the spread and I get good fills. Like if you have a large account, then you need to, probably quote a tighter spread so you have higher chances of getting filled. And if it's a small account, you can like quote 100 or 150 and then you get also good results. And then like you exit at like minus 80 in theory. Let me also look at like the longer history and look at the Oracle price, right? The Oracle price is at 69.586. So we're roughly at 0. So yeah, what I'm going to do for JP225, I'm going to actually do a very aggressive entry and exit, right? So instead of 80 and minus 30, I'm going to do minus 50 and 0, right? And then I'm going to do 50 and 0. So we still make 50 like points, right, on this type of trade. So in other words, like we can still make money with this type of like tight spread, and we'll have higher chance of getting filled because I also want to apply strategy on my large account most likely, right, to make profits on my large account. So I'm going to test like these settings, and other than that, like I let it run overnight and see how it goes tomorrow. So I'm excited like to share this share results with you tomorrow, and so provide the update on the cash and carry arbitrage. Does this work with all major pairs? Yes, to some extent, yes. So if you check this app, right, and you run an analysis through all these symbols like SP500, JP25, Euro USD, other stocks, you'll find that in Hyperliquid, these deviations are actually quite frequent, right? Some of them are like more frequent than others, but overall, as of this moment, you can apply it on multiple symbols. Oh, nice. And so you see, I think I just got a fill, right? So here we opened a short position, right? Because we're shorting 50 probably. So now we're doing a bit more aggressive like entries and exits. And so right now our exposure is still kind of low, right? But we also have like a nice exposure on USD JPY here. So USD JPY basically already takes like 40% of our current margin allocation because we only have like 5K or 4.6K on this account. So this account is trading like at 40% capacity right now. And the rest, if I get filled on JP225, I'll be super happy and everything's gonna be cool. All right, I'm gonna have a second toilet break, so I'll be right back and let's continue later. Okay, so let's see if some trades happened while I was gone. So it seems like okay, we have entry block, sell entry is okay. This is weird because let's like check the strategy settings. My maximum exposure in Hyperliquid is supposed to be 0.25, and now my exposure is 0.3592. So this is very strange because right now we have an active trading signal, so we need to review that. So average ask is greater than 50, and exposure is greater than 0.25. Let me print that and then like report it to Claude. I I think there is an issue with the strategy logic. The bot should be entering short, but selling is blocked. Can you review? So do you see that like my trading bot is running and it sells entry blocked for ask, and like the spread is under 50, right? It's above 50, so it should be short, and exposure is like lower or like mathematically higher than 0.25, and so I don't understand why we are getting blocked execution here. Like maybe of course I should increase this to a little bit more, and but yeah, so we'll figure that out. No, I'm not gonna run both of them together. I will just, run the new one, and if you want to compare that, like maybe, we can run two trading bots. But the thing is, I can't run them together, right? Because they trade the same asset, I would have to split the accounts and then trade them on two separate accounts. And like this is like by pure logic, like the trading logic is the same. All we're doing is we're just allowing the trading bot to place the bid and ask at the same time. So as a result, we're just, improving the efficiency of the bot, right? So it can like enter and exit much faster than just wait for buy sell and buy sell. Um, so in other words, like I'm 100% sure that this trading bot will be like more profitable than the previous version, and so yeah, but now I think there's like this bug that we have to deal with. Like now it's not entering any cells, so I need to check that now. But let's also look at the execution, right? It's important like when we also check the strategies. Let's see if my dashboard is running. Okay, let's restart dashboard also. So if I like restart my dashboard, I also need to make sure that the fills are good, and the fills we can check if we filter by JP225. And so here, as you can see, so right now the fill entry is at 65, which is fine, right? So we're short and like so at 65. If I exit at 0, it's like 65 points, like money made. And so here we have this issue here. So let me read through it and let's see. Okay, let's also okay. Let me read through it and I'll come back to the comments and then yeah, we can discuss more questions. Oh, so here I got the volume cap limitation. Oh, okay. So all I have to do, so it was a manual error, so that's fine. So here, the hedge bot has reached the maximum volume cap. So here, I've already increased the cap, so now I just have to, yeah, let it run like this, and then we'll see if it continues trading. Okay, so we're selling. Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, now my bot is running. Let's answer some more questions. Hey, what strategies do you have currently running on live? Well, it depends, right? Depends on the current market conditions. So over the past 2 weeks, I've been trading mainly 2 or 3 strategies. So like again, if you go to my, like you can check it again here, right? So if you look at this public dashboard and like check my test account, I've been trading on this test account for the past 3 weeks. And so if we check the like results, and so you will see the PNL here, and like you can also like filter by the symbols. And the things I've traded was like JP225. So we've traded JP225, had very good returns in the beginning. Then what we've also traded was like maybe SP500, right? And then we did like some small testing on like Nvidia or Apple, right? So we had like some small profits during the testing phase, which showed pretty good profits, right? Except this one, I don't know how that happened, but again, we were just testing, so I'm not gonna investigate $1. And then we had like your €1 trade, but it's just $2.5, so nothing much happening here. So yeah, based on the data here, I've been trading mainly SP500 and JP225, and my main account just mainly SP500, right? So it's this one. And so yeah, cool. So I was able to enter it into an SP500 trade right now. So finally, like you know, this entire morning there has been no trade. I changed the strategy settings to enter short at 3. I see that I got slipped a bit at 2.4, so probably, I have to check the strategy settings if I also, updated the interval, which I didn't. So here I need to, to improve my edge and not get arbitrage, I should change the ambient interval to 0.25 and 0.25. Right, this just reduces. Okay, I'm going to restart this trading bot, and I'm also going to restart this hedge bot very fast. I mean, usually you should the correct way would be like stop the trading bot, then cancel all the orders, right, and then restart everything. But it's a small order size, so I don't really care. So we just do like this. Right, and now we're like coding like much faster. That will hopefully improve our price because, as I said, yeah, I tried to enter at 3, right? So here, getting filled at 2.55 is basically a 45-cent slippage. So I'm trying, to optimize the execution here a bit. Oh yeah, no, so the question is still trading status arbitrage on stocks. No, I fully moved to Hyperliquid, and we're doing spread arbitrage and funding rate arbitrage between Hyperliquid and MT5 right now. So a question, what is the risk of this type of arbitrage? Like when price signal moves against you just one asset, how do you protect yourself against that? So yeah, so the biggest risk of this type of arbitrage is getting liquidated on one side. So when, for example, when price moves up, one account will be in profit and other account will be in a loss, right? And so the worst thing that can happen is you get like margin call or liquidated on one where the broker forces you to close the trades, and that can like have a very huge slippage. And so to avoid that, uh, first you avoid that by having like enough margin on both accounts. Make sure that both accounts are healthy in terms of like balance, like in terms of the account balance. Uh, don't over leverage, like use low leverage, like 1 to 5, 1 to 10 should be okay. If you go 1 to 20, you will see that like it's doable, but it's like very, very risky. And when the market's very volatile, you might get stopped out. And to protect ourselves, like, yeah, so these are the uh, measures you can do before entering a trade. And then after being in the trade, it never happened to me. I still have to test it, but we have like things such as a closeout logic that if my margin is running too low and we're approaching liquidation, the trading bot will start to slowly close the position, so we avoid liquidation, like forced liquidation on the exchange. Okay, so this is interesting. So we are 0.07 JPYs on Hyperliquid, and right now our signal is wait. And like I'm trying to understand, why that is, because we're selling at plus 50 and the ask price is 140, right? So why are we not entering? So again, I have to ask, did I? Yeah, I did. I turned it two-sided. Why is the trading bot not trading? So I think the current ask price is above our sell level, so I am confused. So again, we're like trying to investigate why our trading bot is not trading, why we're not short, and so we'll see very soon. Right, and yeah, we're entering our trade on SP 500, so that is great. So exposure is 0.07. There is a cap up to 25. Strategy settings on JP225, and here if I check the exposure, so max exposure 0.25, max short 0. minus 0.25. Oh, maybe we are running out of margin. Nah, we're not running out of margin. Oh, there is insufficient margin. And so if we look at our account, so here we have like 2,000 in margin. This is 3,100. And so in balances, we have $600 available to add in margin. That's just 600. So at 5, our margin is, yeah, more than enough. And so here we want at least like 100 margin on Hyperliquid. That is okay. Maybe it's the liquid, no, not the liquidation distance. Actually, liquidation distance should be higher on JP225. So yeah, if I restart it, let's see what happens. Like, so current exposure is minus 0.716. Exposure now equals to clamped cap, so there is no room to add. So this is the available margin to add. So it's telling me I'm like running out of margin, and that is the weird part. Uh, but yeah, maybe I can just deploy it on my on a large server, right? But first I need to understand what the issue is. Oh, maybe I set the leverage 1 to 5, and for that reason, we are having yeah, margin issues. So here we see coding two-sided. Oh, insufficient sell, clamping max exposure to the max current exposure. No further shorts at. Okay. So what we have here is that maybe I set the initial order type too high because we get insufficient margin. So instead of 0.25, I will maybe quote 0.025. And if I compute the current required leverage, so 69,000 times 0.025 is 1,700. So divided by 5, which is the leverage, we need 345 available in margin. All right, so maybe it was just margin issue. So nothing bad is happening. And so yeah, so I think, you know, I will turn the string bot like on my large account now. So we're going to trade on the 100K account, and we're just going to observe, you know, how it's doing. Like, yeah, 50 should be fine. Yeah. I just have to be, you know, be very careful with, you know, how much I open, because on large account, right, I can open so much more. And if I get liquidated, that will be a problem. So I think leverage 1 to 5. I wouldn't go more than leverage 1 to 5 if, you know, I'm going to trade on the large 100K account. So it's now recording again. Now it seems to work. And great. So everything's fine. Are you Vietnamese? Yes, I am. How did you figure it out? Oh, we have chocolates. Yeah, we can have chocolate. I'll grab some chocolate later. Oh, okay. So I think, yeah, I'm going to copy this JP225 folder, and then I'm going to add it into this server, right? So we're going to trade JP225 here. I think it's already running on this server. And so as I can see, there's already, you know, one JP225 script running, and oh no. And here we got another crash. Good thing I can then investigate this. I got this error on the server where the trading bot crashed. Can you investigate this? Right. But in the meantime, I will just upload the new code, and yeah, we can trade the new JP225 strategy. And I just observe, right? I wouldn't run it overnight, like if I was not too confident, but at least, it's still early in the day, so I can select still test it. And I can always revert back to the old train bot, right? So that's also not an issue. So I will open my prompt. I will go here, and then I'm going to run my hedger. So Python mt5 hedger.py. Oh no, I'm too hasty. I still need to check the strategy settings. Too hasty. So here I'm like, I think I can go like even half, like half even a whole one, right? But first I want to test and make sure that everything's working as it should be, right? And here, so everything seems to look okay. Yeah, also the problem here is that, right, we're already fully allocated on SP500, so I can't trade it yet on this server. So probably uh, I will trade a very, very small size, a very small one. So I will trade like 0.1 basically, right, which is already open, right? So this is my current exposure. So I will just trade 0.1 basically for now. And then, well, the leverage here is not too high, right? I mean, the size is not too high, so I think that it should be okay. So now let's turn the string strategy on my large 100K account. We go here, so we go cd and Python mt5 hedger.py. So we run our hedge bot here. Hopefully we didn't have like any unhedged exposure when we traded, but everything seems to be working okay. And then let's open our second command prompt. And so here in the second command prompt, let's turn on our trading bot, right? So again, we change directory to this folder, and then we write Python trading bot two-sided.py. So here we're going to test our new, second version of our trading bot. I think in the future, like the two-sided script is going to be like more efficient anyways, right? So maybe we will, if the two-sided script works, then we will just replace the string bot with a two-sided one, and then everything should be fine. So yeah. So now we have an exit signal, right? So we're coding an exit, and so hopefully, we'll find an exit price very soon. Right, so now with two strategies running, S&P 500 is working well, and let me confirm my partner, 1 second. Okay, I just had to, check some trades with my colleague, so everything's also fine on other accounts. And so yeah, so now, yeah, we're trying to exit here on our, and yeah, I report this bug. So here, uh, so let's see what's happening. Okay, all right. Treat or cancel a place field as cleared. Apply the cancel detection, no crash. All right. Not a good thing that, we found another issue and now we're like trying to fix it, so everything's fine. All right, guys. Today I might have to, end the stream sooner, right? So I just want to, finish this string bot, right? So probably done like within 30 minutes. And then like I will upload the code again so you guys can try it out. And yeah, so a little bit of like a side quest, but that was mainly because we had like no trading opportunities, right? So we wanted to like improve the trading bot so we are able to, uh, like build our position faster and also offload it much faster. And so now, yeah, hopefully tomorrow we can actually start with a backtesting and the Bollinger bot. So that will be our project tomorrow. So I think I will need some energy drinks tomorrow because that project will be a little bit like, yeah, will be lots of work. But we already have like a lot of foundation done. So all we have to do basically with the Bollinger bot is just to create like a signal function that can like dynamically return like these values. Okay, so we're trading Hyperliquid, and yeah, so soon, yeah, hopefully, we'll close the S&P 500 trade in a profit. Like we're already 57 S&Ps, which is amazing. And let's check the average fill, right? We're also interested in the fill price. So if we go to live dashboard here, like our sell limit was at 3 now, right? That was our sell limit. So if we filter by S&P, our sell limit is 2.7, right? So we are like 24 cents worse. So that's a slippage, right? We are 24 cents worse. But this is still acceptable, right? Because our X is 0, so like we have still 2.7 dollars to make on this trade. So I was still trying to, catch some trades, which is fine. Cool. And like on this account, we have USD JPY, right? So here we're also like fully allocated already. You see, how much we bought on USD JPY. There are so many buys, right? So here, yeah, I'm trying to make like some money on the funding rates here, which is going to be cool, right? So this is our like our nice little trade that we have. And if you look at the dashboard on this account, right, and filter by USD JPY, let's have a look at the current P&L of the strategy. So we made like 1.81 in realized P&L, and currently we are like plus 1.5 in funding, which is okay, right? It's not great, but at least we're trading something, right? And hopefully, pardon, hopefully we'll close that trade in a profit later. We have rate limited. Okay, I have to check this. Okay, we're here applying some changes on our class, right, to handle, our open orders. And like it refreshes using the REST endpoint. So that way we have the correct data about open orders. Okay, so we're gonna wait, and then after that, I'm going to upload it to my servers, test it overnight, and tomorrow I will just update you if regarding new version. Cool. Right, so that's like a huge change. I think this will require some more extensive testing. So, for now, today, I will not upload this code. Bye. Enjoy your day. Cool, we're trying to exit our position here. So this is our two-sided bot. Okay, a lot of changes actually going on here. I actually can just allow all the edits. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's quite a long request, but yeah, again, we try to avoid the trading bot crashing, but it's just a trading bot, right? So the good thing is that our hedge bot is still active. So in case the bot crashes, we will still hedge that exposure. So we would just probably have to turn the trading bot on again. But yeah, this is better to just restart trading bot when we miss an event on open orders. Okay, I think I can transfer the USDH. I think I tried to run experiment, uh, so I can so USDH. I need to actually I just need to sell it, right? I just need to sell USDH. So I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell 200.55. I'm going to sell all my USDH, and like this money I will put back in the USDC so I can put it to provide margin to my trading accounts. And because my BTC is taking 500, so it's taking away from my available margin. So I'm selling this. Let's place the order and let's sell this. And yeah, add some to FA. Okay, so let's sell it again. I'm selling. And now I have more margin available, which I can use for trading, which is great. Also, price is kind of okay, right? I sold at 0.9999, so yeah, not too bad. Okay, let's see. Okay, nice. So it's doing some background checks, right? So once it's done, it's going to be done. But it seems like that the issue is resolved, and then I'll, test it. Um, cool. All right, guys. So yeah, I'm getting a bit tired today, so I think I'll cut the stream a bit earlier today than usual. So yeah, if you have any questions, again, as usual, let me know. I will test the new JP225 two-sided bot like over the day, and if everything's fine, then I will upload a new version tomorrow for you guys to test it. And yeah, so tomorrow I'll get ready for a big day because we'll be coding our Bollinger bot, and so far, yeah, and we'll see now how the trade will also end today because yeah, now we're like fully allocated on JP225 on our large account. So maybe there's like a big chance that we'll also make some money by the end of the day. So also like curious to see the results later. Okay, yeah, so this is a big task, so this will require some testing probably. Or maybe before I go, I can get a chocolate. Sugar is good when you're getting tired. So 1 second. So I got some chocolates, and immediately after the first one, I feel so much better. So let me mute myself so I can eat it in peace. All right, guys, I'm back. So thank you for waiting. It was a great chocolate. So, help me out with the fatigue a bit. But it looks like that, yeah, the fix has been applied. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, I will need to deploy it today on my new servers, and then I'll let you know tomorrow. So yeah, this was like a big change. So just in case, I will not upload it yet, and then I'll provide an update. All right, guys. So thank you for joining today's live stream. I'm really happy that we finished the two-side code bot. So hopefully that will have some better performance. And yeah, tomorrow again same time, and we'll start coding our Bollinger Band strategy. So take care, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.